Today we bring you the 2025 thriller horror film Clown in a Cornfield. The story unfolds on a 1991 night. As teenagers throw a raucous party in a cornfield, laughter echoing under the stars. A girl holds the Baypen music box, and just as she examines it closely, its mascot Frendo startles her. To punish her boyfriend Tyler for gifting the music box, Jessica signaled him to follow her into the cornfield, and Tyler quickly ran after her. But Jessica runs ahead, leaving Tyler, who spots only an oversized footprint on the ground. As he wonders about it, an eerie sound suddenly reaches his ears.
No.
Seeing his girlfriend covered in blood, a terrified Tyler tries to flee, but he hasn't run far when a scarecrow appears before him, startling him again. Frendo suddenly emerged and brutally killed Tyler, and the couple died right there in the cornfield. Years later, a girl named Quinn faces major upheaval in her life. Her world plunged into darkness after her mother's passing. She is forced to move with her doctor father Glenn from bustling Philadelphia to the isolated town of Kettle Springs, Missouri. This town once thrived thanks to its corn syrup factory, but now lies in ruins after the factory closed and burned down, dragging the town into decay. Since Glenn didn't have time to inspect the house before buying, their new home has many flaws, including no cell signal and no Wi-Fi. Not only that, they smell a stench of decay, and Quinn eventually finds a dead dog stuck in the chimney. Fortunately, the dead dog is soon removed by workers. The next morning, Quinn meets her neighbor and classmate Rust on the way to school, and they decide to walk together for companionship. As they near the school, Rust kindly warns Quinn to avoid several troublemakers in class known as notorious vandals. Ignoring Rust's advice, Quinn witnesses those same students prank their teacher shortly after entering the classroom. Disgustingly, they filmed the whole stunt and posted it to their prank channel for views. To boast about their success, they show Quinn their previous videos, claiming this one is their most viewed piece lately. Watching their videos, Quinn slowly grows interested, feeling they aren't as bad as Rust said, but rather fun to be around. While Quinn and Glenn are eating at a diner, Tucker and his friends appear at the window, signaling her to ditch her dad and meet them later. Understanding the hint, Quinn makes up an excuse to her father and leaves. Glenn has no idea his daughter is being pulled into an endless abyss by Tucker's group. Quinn grows closer with Tucker and the others, and that night they gather at an abandoned warehouse on the edge of town, their secret hangout spot. They sit together chatting and planning their next video shoot. Suddenly, one boy stands up saying he needs to go relieve himself. Soon after, a blood-curdling scream is heard outside, startling everyone into action. They find the boy lying on the ground, a sinister-looking Frendo standing beside him.
Quinn! It's...
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a YouTube sensation.
Turns out it was their prank all along, kept secret from Quinn for authenticity. After tonight, Quinn officially joins their crew. On the way back, Cole apologizes to Quinn for not warning her, but Quinn admits knowing in advance would have ruined the scare, so she doesn't mind. After several meetings, Quinn starts developing feelings for Cole. Just as Quinn was about to kiss Cole, her father discovered them, and Glenn roared at his daughter to go home first, then told Cole to absolutely stay away from his daughter. To avoid angering Glenn, Cole promises it won't happen again. Back home, Glenn continues scolding Quinn for not calling to say where she was. Quinn argues she tried, but this area has no signal. They had a heated argument over this, and it was only then that Quinn learned her father had chosen to escape here because of some issues at work, which is why he ended up in such a remote place. Heartbroken, Quinn locks herself in her room, lying in bed wanting to watch their new video to unwind. Suddenly, she spots something terrifying in the footage, another Frendo, wearing a different costume than theirs. Seeking answers, Quinn sends the video to Tucker to ask what's going on. Tucker is equally shocked, having no clue who the extra figure is. Right after watching Quinn's video, Tucker receives a new clip showing the terrifying Frendo standing right outside his door. Tucker assumes it's another prank by his friends and decides to confront the person, rip off their mask, and find out who it really is. Tucker crept toward the door only to find it already wide open, and then he spotted a plastic sheet spread on the floor in the bedroom. Feeling someone had broken in and might still be hiding in the closet, he quickly yanked the closet door open. But Tucker found no one inside, only a Frendo music box. Completely off guard, Tucker was killed by Frendo right there in the house. The next day, the town held its annual Founders Day celebration, with Cole's father, Hill, serving as the event's organizer. Hill never had much faith in Cole, believing Cole couldn't possibly succeed him as mayor. Their personalities were worlds apart. But Cole had no intention of taking his father's position anyway, as he cherished his freedom and disliked feeling constrained. Meanwhile, the town was decked out in lights and full of festive cheer, but beneath this lively surface lurked endless terror. Quinn found Ronnie and Janet and told them she had seen Frendo in the video. They told Quinn not to worry, because they guessed it was probably just Tucker's friend, solely to enhance the video's mysterious vibe. As they discussed this, Cole arrived and asked Janet if she'd seen Tucker. They said Tucker was probably up to some trick again. Who knew where he'd gone off to this time? Cole said he would check Tucker's house, but Ronnie and Janet said they had another mysterious video to shoot and didn't have time, adding Tucker might show up himself soon, telling Cole and Quinn to wait right there. Janet and Ronnie had just left when a disruptive Frendo appeared on the scene, juggling what looked like 3 bomb models. Police witnessing this tried to shoo him away, but Frendo panicked and accidentally ignited a fire, throwing the scene into immediate chaos. Cole wanted to ask Janet and Ronnie if this was their doing, but they claimed they had no idea what was happening. While they were puzzled, Sheriff Dunn approached Cole, suspecting they had done it for online clout. Dunn quickly pinned the blame for the disruption on Cole's group. They tried to argue but were arrested for sabotaging the parade festival. Fortunately, Glenn learned of the situation and bailed them out the next day. Seeing his daughter, Glenn warned against associating with those troublemakers. After a verbal scolding, Glenn went home with her father. Meanwhile, Matt was training in his family's barn when he too spotted a Frendo music box. But unlike the others, he only wound the music box halfway before hurriedly setting it aside and continuing his training.
Very
Matt met the most gruesome end, instantly decapitated by Frendo. That night, Quinn received a text from Cole saying he was throwing a party at the old warehouse and asking if she wanted to come. Quinn agreed without hesitation. Seeing her father was asleep, she snuck out. On the way to the warehouse, Quinn and Cole were chatting when Cole ran into his friend Rust and nearly bumped into him. Seeing his friend there, Cole invited Rust to the party. But Rust, noticing Cole was with another girl, said angrily he wasn't in the mood for a party right now. Seeing Rust wasn't interested, Cole immediately left with Quinn. Soon, they arrived at the party. On the dance floor, Quinn spotted Janet and Ronnie. Cole asked if Tucker and Matt had arrived yet. Janet and Ronnie said they didn't know where they were. They hadn't seen them in ages. Janet and Ronnie guessed they were probably still setting up some prank. The group had no idea that Tucker and Matt were already dead, and they were even more unaware that something far more terrifying was about to descend upon them. Everyone at the party was having a great time, and Quinn pulled Cole into the hay shed behind them, intending to enjoy this special night with him. But Cole resisted, saying things were moving too fast. Snapping back to reality, Quinn pushed Cole away. Seeing this, Cole apologized and explained he had a lot on his mind and wasn't ready. But Quinn didn't want to hear it and just ran off. Quinn had just reached outside the party when Janet and Ronnie walked over. Seeing Quinn standing alone, they mocked her.
You're a sucker, Quinn. He sucked you into his little web so he could feed on your naive little mind.
Feeling insulted, Quinn argued with Janet. As their argument heated up, a woman stumbled out of the nearby cornfield. Ronnie and Janet thought this might be Matt and Tucker's prank. They walked toward the cornfield, saying the effects looked fake and they needed better props. Suddenly, a severed head wearing a Frendo mask was thrown out. It was Matt. Seeing this, Janet still thought it looked fake and casually tossed the head to Ronnie. While they were still goofing around, Quinn bent down to check the woman's pulse. Hearing Quinn say the woman was dead, they finally stopped laughing, feeling a wave of terror wash over them.
Hey, check it out, it's Frendo!
Terrified, the teens rushed back into the warehouse, but Quinn, Ronnie, and Janet didn't make it in time and were about to be killed by Frendo. Just then, Rust appeared before them armed with a weapon, saving them and even killing one Frendo.
Duck!
Rust asked his friends where they had all gone. Scared out of their wits, they couldn't explain clearly. Rust told everyone to get out of there, as he discovered all the cars had their tires slashed on his way in, and currently, there was no cell signal in the area. Russ told Quinn to check who was under the Frendo mask. Quinn, having heard him, was just about to remove the Frendo's mask when more and more Frendos emerged from the cornfield beside them. Seeing this terrifying scene, they froze in fear, but Rust, armed with a weapon, struck first and broke one Frendo's arm. Seeing their companion injured, the Frendos all charged forward with their weapons. Rust wanted to shoot more Frendos, but discovered his shotgun had jammed. With no other choice, the group ran towards the nearby barn. Fortunately, they ran fast enough to successfully hide inside. At that moment, they tried to use their phones for help, but there was still no signal. Just as everyone thought they would die there, Quinn spotted a hidden opening to a sewer drain nearby. She felt it might lead outside. They decided to escape through it. Meanwhile, Glenn, after arguing with his daughter, felt he had hurt her. Uneasy, he went to her room to apologize. To his surprise, he found that Quinn wasn't at home. Discovering his daughter had snuck out again, Glenn drove out to search for her. Glenn tried to call and ask where his daughter was, but the call wouldn't connect. Suddenly, he saw the glass door of his clinic had been smashed, so he decided to go in and check what was going on. No sooner had he entered, than Glenn was captured by a Frendo. It turned out the Frendo came here to find Glenn to treat his companion's arm. The Frendo also threatened Glenn, saying if he couldn't fix his companion, he would kill him and his daughter. Worried his daughter was in their hands, the helpless Glenn had no choice but to comply. Back at the barn, the Frendos were launching a full attack. Seeing they were about to break in, Russ told the others to escape first while he stayed behind to hold them off. The clever Rust found a gasoline can and several propane tanks, tying them to a farm machine. He planned to blow up the killers when they stormed in. Quinn's group, escaping to the front of the sewer drain, quickly climbed through to the other end. Guessing they had escaped, Rust then put his plan into action. Cole, thinking Rust might be dead in the warehouse, wanted to go back and save him, but Quinn said the shotgun only had one shell left and he should save it. They had no choice but to leave Rust behind and ran into the cornfield, hoping to find someone nearby for help. Meanwhile, Glenn, still treating the Frendo, suddenly heard voices over a walkie-talkie saying his daughter had escaped the warehouse. Learning his daughter was still evading the Frendos, Glenn felt he couldn't delay any longer and devised an escape plan. He quickly pulled the control wires off the injured Frendo. When the machine made a sound, Glenn told the Frendo the patient urgently needed electrotherapy and told him to grab the defibrillator paddles. Seeing his companion about to die, the Frendo grabbed the paddles without thinking. When the Frendo put down his weapon, Glenn seized the opportunity and stabbed the Frendo to death. Seeing the Frendo fall, Glenn quickly grabbed the walkie-talkie. From the other Frendos, he learned Quinn's escape direction, and hearing this, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Learning his daughter was still near the factory, Glenn hurried towards it. Meanwhile, Quinn's group ran out of the cornfield and saw a car approaching. They rushed into the middle of the road to call for help. But to their surprise, the passing officer was their nemesis, Dunn. Seeing Quinn's group covered in blood, Dunn suspected they were up to no good again, especially Cole, who loved filming videos. Dunn had previously warned that if he caught evidence, he wouldn't hesitate to arrest him. They kept saying Frendos had attacked them, but Dunn wouldn't listen. The others, wanting to save themselves, asked Dunn to arrest them too, but Dunn thought they were being ridiculous and simply drove off, leaving them. Helpless, Quinn, Janet, and Ronnie could only choose to keep running. Janet then said a friend of hers lived in a house about 1 kilometer into the cornfield. Perhaps they could go there to call for help. With no other options, they ran back into the cornfield, planning to cut through. But their luck was bad. They had just entered when they spotted several Frendos in the cornfield, all wielding chainsaws. Frightened, Quinn, Janet, and Ronnie scattered in panic. Luckily, Quinn reacted fast, instantly knocking down a Frendo, but Ronnie, running ahead, crashed straight into a Frendo's chainsaw. Seeing Ronnie die horribly, Quinn and Janet desperately ran the opposite way. They didn't run far before finally reaching Janet's friend's house, but as soon as they entered, they saw what looked like a dead Frendo lying in the living room. To check if the Frendo was dead, Janet found a tool to poke it. Confirming it wasn't breathing, they decided to search for a phone. Upstairs in the study, Quinn found a phone, but unfortunately, the landline wasn't working either.
Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What the phone is this?
Feeling it was a trap, they prepared to flee. But as they came downstairs, Janet was impaled by a Frendo wielding a pitchfork. Quinn managed to overpower and kill that Frendo. Spotting car keys by the door, Quinn grabbed them and ran to the pickup truck outside, ready to drive away. This time, luckily, the pickup started, but she had no idea how to drive the manual transmission. As she despaired about what to do, more and more Frendos emerged from the cornfield. Quinn tried desperately to drive the pickup, but not knowing how to shift gears, she kept stalling the engine. Unable to escape, Quinn was finally captured by the Frendos and taken to the local burnt-out factory. When Quinn woke up, she discovered the one who had captured her was Sheriff Dunn. Even more shocking was that the mastermind behind everything was Cole's father, Hill. Because Cole had been idle, filming useless videos that defamed the town and previously caused his sister's death, Hill had resented them all along. That's why he disguised himself as Frendo to kill them. Not only that, Hill said he had killed many people who defamed the town years ago. As a founding family descendant, he had to protect the town and punish outsiders who slandered it. But Cole, hearing this, said he hadn't done those things. It was just Hill's assumption.
So worried about what's wrong with the kids when you guys are the ones that everything up!
As soon as Cole finished speaking, the others, refusing to listen, still intended to finish them off. Just as Dunn prepared to act, Glenn drove his car crashing into the factory. Glenn's sudden arrival instantly took out two Frendos. Seeing his companion die horribly, another Frendo grabbed a chainsaw trying to kill Glenn, but after a fierce fight, neither side gained the upper hand. Quinn stabbed Dunn and ran into a back storage room, but Dunn chased right behind her. Seeing countless Frendo costumes inside, Quinn quickly broke her bonds and hid.
See, that's the problem with your generation. Y'all think that you're smarter than us.
You got that right.
Dunn never expected Quinn was hiding behind him. Before he could draw his weapon, he was killed by Quinn. Meanwhile, Hill, to punish his son, drove off in the car right beneath Cole's feet and escaped from there. With no support point left, Cole began choking to death when suddenly a gunshot rang out. Fortunately, Rust arrived with his shotgun and saved his buddy Cole. In the end, the survivors, having escaped death, were all grateful to be alive that night. After leaving the factory, they planned to leave in a Frendo vehicle, but as the car started, a Frendo wielding a chainsaw appeared in the middle of the road.
Now we're done running. Quinn? Fucking punch it!
After this horrifying ordeal, Quinn left Lake Spring Township, carrying both wounds and hope for the future. They knew many unknown dangers and secrets still awaited them in this world, but they were no longer afraid, for they had grown stronger. And the Cornfield Frendo, who once brought endless terror to the town, would forever remain a haunting nightmare in people's hearts. Well, that concludes today's story. We'll see you next time.